the rest of it.
So good.
I've watched the preview that plays on Netflix like 5 times.
Also, you know what else is really good is Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is good.
I'm not caught up.
Elizabeth
really
is
good.
making me watch that now, and it's perfect, and I have emotions, and it's all her fault.
Season 3 is like easily the best season of the show,
I've only
which is
seen
great.
1 and 2.
We haven't gotten to season 3 yet. I'm so ready.
It's so
We've been
good.
watching
It's so
a
good. It
couple-
ramps up so much. I have been on Netflix sort of hanging out with a really bad show that I love, Fuller House.
Oh.
I just finished it today. I've watched it, literally, I watched each season as it came out for the last 5 years.
That's
Which
amazing.
show is this?
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, like, I think that's
Fuller
probably...
House.
It's pretty,
Oh,
yeah,
Full
no,
House, okay.
that's pretty on brand for me, I think. It's not funny or good or interesting in any way, but it's like heartwarming, you know? And that's nice
mean,
sometimes. It's like a
Better
hug
than
for your
me,
heart.
who just needs to watch new things because I keep watching the same thing over and over.
Yeah, you can only watch New Girl so many times.
Yeah, that's fair. I think my great crime... You know what I did recently is I rewatched How I Met Your Mother. It was on Hulu, because I saw it, you know, as it was coming on a while ago, and man, like, they actually just don't go more than 2 episodes without a transphobic joke. It is insane.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely, like, was so shocked. I did not, like, nobody noticed, apparently. But yeah, like, they make
Oh
it
my
maybe
God.
2 or 3 episodes at best without one. Okay, so, hello everyone. Just look around you for a minute, and you see those wavy purple lines in a dome around you. That's right, we're already in the podcast.
I hate this.
Oh.
How do I get out?
Um,
Where's the fire exit?
If we're in the podcast, then who's recording?
God. All right, so welcome to GameBusters, everyone. This is a podcast from GameLuster.com. I'm your host, Nirav Gandhi, and I am joined today by my lovely co-hosts. And now you all say your names.
We didn't
I'm
agree on
Kate.
an
I
order.
can usually be found living, sleeping, and breathing Gwent.
I'm Annie. I don't know what my superlative is supposed to be.
Least
I'm-
prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I am Elizabeth, and I'm only here because I overslept for work.
She works for Jeff Bezos directly, like
Yeah.
reports directly to him. Is his head as shiny as it looks from the TV?
God. Egg.
She can't even answer
Yeah.
that. So shiny it is.
You could crack an egg on that bad boy.
And, you know, it is an egg.
I'm trying to sort of pivot. The last 3, the last 3 episodes of this podcast have sort of been built around dunking on Todd Howard of Bethesda Game Studios, even when he wasn't involved in any of the projects.
We should
And-
Todd bot.
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to steer us towards dunking on someone else. Maybe we can do Bezos for this one. I'm thinking we maybe end up back on Todd again.
Pick your billionaire for the week.
Yeah.
You can dunk on that wasp that was in my backyard and decided my entire neck tasted good.
Is your wasp a billionaire?
Maybe in wasp dollars.
Wait. Bezos and Todd Howard have collaborated because you can play Skyrim on the Alexa.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did collab. Okay.
Todd Howard.
We brought it back around. All right, so let's get into it. I just like kind of want to like warm up everybody. Let's just run around and kind of talk about like what non-game stuff have you been doing? Any like TV shows, podcasts, any like interesting movie you saw recently? I guess I sort of have led us in with having watched all of the last season of Fuller House in one sitting. And again, not good. Don't recommend. I really enjoyed it.
Wait, are you the Steam review where it's like 600 hours not recommended?
The best review I've ever seen was of like several weeks after, like just a few weeks after Fallout 4 came out on Steam. Somebody had 275 hours and they said this is the worst game ever.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You're watching Fuller
What
House.
tracks?
So Elizabeth, what you been doing?
Nothing really that much.
Cool.
I start a new job tomorrow, so I'm kind of stressed out about that.
It's kind of like a movie. Yeah.
Ugh. It's 6 times longer than a movie. My shifts are 12 hours long, which is the only thing I'm really afraid of.
Wow.
But I could watch many movies if they would let me.
Do it on video.
That's exciting. Okay, cool. Kate, what you up to?
I'm cheating because this is kind of game related, but I've been reading the finally released English translation of the Final Fantasy 15 novel and realizing that I like these characters a lot less when they're not voice acted, and so much of what made that game even remotely tolerable was the voice actors doing an A-plus job.
That's a good
It's
pull.
not very well written, and the characters are not as fun without being voice acted, and they just come across as very bland without any of the like sass and one-liners that they're
Yeah.
kind of known for. So it's not a great
And
book.
I bet there aren't even any cup noodles in it.
There aren't. There have been no cup noodles so far, which is just a crying shame.
Oh
I
my God,
honestly
but
like.
Can you imagine if it was published and it had the little TM next to it? I'd fucking dissociate.
Like
That
in the
thing
text
is
of the
best
book.
cup noodle commercial
Oh
there
my
is.
God, I would literally
the
not be able to
idea
handle that.
the idea of putting like paid promotions into like the text of a book is so interesting to me, and I love the idea of a novel that has like the character like just like stops talking and says like, I love my cup noodles, TM.
Yeah, because that's what Final Fantasy 15 did.
Right, no, but that was a video game. Like, I'm talking about like a novel, like a
I know,
novel
but
that I
the
bought.
dialogue still
interrupts
stops.
the flow of the story and is like,
Does
Does the character like turn towards the camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
In the
actually,
book,
does.
the text of the book says the character turns towards the camera. Like that's what I okay, yeah, but no, like
It says like Jim on The Office,
Yeah.
TM.
in Final Fantasy 15, there is literally an entire character quest for one of the characters, Gladio, built around his love of the cup noodles, and like we have to find the perfect ingredients. And I'm like, they're already in there, man. They put all the ingredients in the thing.
keep in mind, Gladio fucks off and goes, God knows where, that's his DLC, but like, he just leaves your party. You know, I played this when it first came out. He just leaves your party for an entire dungeon.
And then he comes back.
The
Yeah, it's like,
first
hey, what'd I
thing-
miss?
Cup
the
noodles.
first thing that pops up as a prompt when he's back in your party is the prompt for the fucking cup noodle side quest. And I'm like, this isn't real.
It's
This is not a
Okay,
real
okay.
thing that I have played.
All right, I've already lost control of this.
This
Annie,
is a
what have
great
you been doing?
non-video game conversation. Well, I decided to uproot my entire life and move from South Carolina to New York, so I am
Oh,
unpacking
God.
and quarantining currently.
Okay, well, I just want to kind of run back through what we just did. None of you really listed any of the things that I asked for.
Well, I literally have not been like watching a movie or anything because I've literally just been unpacking.
I read
Okay.
a book.
Yeah, you did read a book. That's
I've
fair.
been watching Stranger Things with me, so
Yes,
I guess
I have
that
also.
counts.
We
Oh,
have
okay,
been
okay.
watching Stranger
Okay.
Things together. That's what we've been doing.
Nice. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start ourselves off with the Hall of Fameluster. I promise it will become real one day. The hall is still under construction. There will be a physical hall that you can visit. It'll be free. It's a non-profit organization. What we're trying to do is to find the best of each kind of a thing, I guess, of different like small things about video games. So like, you know, we talked about last week the I've already forgotten, but just pretend that I knew what it was. So this week, what we're gonna do is everyone is gonna bring a submission with them for the best long boy from a video game, and we're gonna sort of each make a case for them, and then you know maybe just fight a little bit, and then we'll do a vote at the end. Everybody gets 2 votes that you can distribute anywhere, and the winner will make it into the Hall of Fameluster, which again will become real one day. One day. I think we're just trying to maybe make it an article that I keep updating, but that sounds boring. I was thinking about making it a Minecraft server you can physically walk around.
Oh my god.
Now you're thinking with
That's
Minecraft.
amazing.
The next mod on Animal Crossing, I need part of the museum.
Yeah.
Oh,
we could
yeah.
just rebuild the whole museum, yeah.
You could scrap your whole island and make it your whole island, like a walk-in tour of the Hall of Fame Luster.
Yes.
Wow. That would be good. All right, so we'll start off with Kate. Kate, what did you bring with you today? Please produce it.
A long boy? Well, I give you a long boy who is not only long, but he gets longer.
Mm.
Presenting Lesser Dog from Undertale.
Oh.
A dog with a long, long neck that gets longer and longer when you pet him. He's just a good boy. All dogs are good boys, and this is a dog with a stretchy neck. You can, in fact, pet him almost infinitely. I think the game does eventually
It does
stop
cap
you.
out. Yeah, it does cap out eventually.
But basically, one of the most satisfying moments in gaming. Lesser Dog from Undertale. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folks.
Okay.
I have to agree with that.
Lesser Dog is a good one.
Wait, you
Elizabeth,
can't tell your
are you,
both
wait, are
yet.
you? Yeah, no, you can't. But Elizabeth, you had to bring one too. What did you bring?
I brought Alolan Executor because you know I did.
Yeah, I know you
I've
did.
only been here on two episodes, and both times I brought Pokemon, so I'm staying very consistent. But the thing about, because there's Gigantamax Meowth, but the thing about Alolan Executor is that you can interact with Alolan Executor outside of battles. You can feed it beans, follow you around. It is ridiculous, and I love it so much.
Wait, can it? Wait, where can it follow you around? Can you use it on the?
Follow you if you play Let's Go, and you can get one in a trade, and it can follow you.
Oh,
It
really?
can be your buddy on
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, too.
And
Oh yeah, Pokemon Go.
if you have the DLC in
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Island of Armor, it can follow you around.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
It's
if you
just
could get it in there. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah. I can.
All right. All right, Annie, what have you brought?
Okay, well, I feel like mine's a little obscure, but he was the first thing
Describe
I
it.
thought of. What is the Totem from Monument Valley?
Ah!
Which I know Nirav knows, but
I love him.
I have to Google. Give me a moment.
yeah, go for it. He's so Monument Valley is like a puzzle game. But anyway, he's a good long boy of basically like 4
Oh,
blocks.
I love him.
He has an eyeball.
Oh, he's so
yes,
cute.
he's quickly like the baby Yoda. Like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Aw.
I
Anything for him.
I have a totem. I think I lost him when I moved, but I had like a little like a miniature of him.
But he like saves you from certain death, and also rips your heart out during the game and brings you such beautiful joy. So therefore, he deserves the world. Also, he's cute. So
I would do anything for him.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you do in the game.
And you do.
Okay. I brought with me the tall necks from Horizon Zero Dawn, which again, if you don't know, you can look up. I think they are possibly the most majestic creatures like ever envisioned. They are about 100 stories tall. They almost look like metallic giraffes, I guess, like giant giraffes, but their heads are like these giant like UFO looking discs. But the cool thing about them is that they're entirely peaceful, and they're like in Horizon Zero Dawn, they're utilized as like the Ubisoft towers you have to climb to unlock the map. Like you have to climb these like moving towers that are these creatures, and like climb their heads and like plug into them to like see the locations and stuff around them.
It's Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes, except you don't fight them. You're not killing them.
Yeah. No.
You were just climbing them, and they're all good boys. Like again, they're peaceful. They mean you no
Yes.
harm.
They
and
are very good boys,
They
judging
are.
by what I can find of them.
Yeah, I just
Their heads look like the Millennium Falcon.
yeah,
I'm
like
just
that,
gonna
yes,
say it.
exactly.
That's
They're-
true.
It looks like a big metal giraffe, but his head is the Millennium Falcon. Which I think is great. Like I don't know, I'm enthusiastic about them, and I always loved seeing them in the distance because it's like, look at this long boy. All right. Does anyone have any like final comments before we do any voting? Anyone have anything to say? Trash talk about each other's?
Oh no, these are all very
No.
excellent.
I was
long
gonna
boys.
say
I
they're all
love
pretty
all of
good.
them.
so-
Yeah,
All of them are long, long boys.
yeah. They're all kind of. Yeah, I guess they all fit into this pretty well. All right. So we'll go around in a circle here. So Annie, where are your 2 votes going?
Man, this is so hard. I mean, I feel like I have to do Executor because I do love him very much. So I guess 1 there.
Mhm. And you can vote for your own too.
Sure, I'll put a vote on mine.
Okay. Kate, where are you going?
Putting 1 on myself because I love petting that boy, and 1 on the tall necks.
Oh,
They're exceptionally large.
they are large. Okay, Elizabeth.
I'm putting 1 vote on Lesser Dog and 1 vote on the Totem because I love him.
Nice. Okay, I'm definitely giving one vote to the Totem, and I'm giving one to the Tall Necks still. I do love them. That does put the Totem in first place for Monument Valley, a game that I suppose two of you haven't even played.
That's
So
okay.
good.
It's somehow
You should play
somehow
it.
it's so
I've
it's
only known the Totem for 15
It takes-
seconds.
it takes,
but if
like-
anything happened to him, I'd kill everything in this room and then myself.
okay.
Seriously, though, you should play it. It's one
Look,
of my
I
favorite
don't
games.
mean to be Kevin Spacey in House of Cards, looking directly at the camera, but you should play Monument Valley.
Yeah.
I
It's very good.
what is it on Steam? I'm probably gonna
No,
get it.
I actually
It's
it's actually a mobile game, and it
Oh, shit,
might
that's even better.
it's one of the like 4 good mobile games that were ever made. It's incredible. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, let's get into the meat of it. Welcome to Bustums. We're gonna take a game, and we're gonna bust it open, and we're gonna figure out what makes it tick, and then we're gonna put it back together in sort of an optimal configuration. All this is to say we're mostly just gonna talk about how good something is, and that's gonna be most of it. I want to get us started a little bit. We're gonna be talking about Phoenix Wright today. I'm kind of grouping in the whole franchise here rather than just a single game. But I wanted to get into this because I think it's a little bit different from the things we've talked about before. So if those of you who don't know, Phoenix Wright, or I guess the Ace Attorney series rather, is a series of games. They're developed and published by Capcom. I believe the first one was in 2001, I saw. And there are 6 mainline games and a few spin-offs so far. Basically, it's a visual novel with a sort of puzzle / detective sort of thing going on. So each of these games is like a series of cases, basically. And you, as an attorney, Phoenix Wright, are like a kind of a young upstart attorney, and you apparently are in control of the police, and you sort of are leading investigations for some, I guess, unexplained reason about the cases that you're prosecuting on.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing.
It
huh?
seems like a conflict of interest. So yeah, and as I said, most of the game is a visual novel. However, there are parts like basically you're investigating a crime scene. You'll do actual investigations, and like when it does come time for the court trials, you do actually have to logic stuff out and figure out like what is actually going on in order to progress. It doesn't just like, it's not like a matter of just like clicking A over and over again. So
Oh no,
yeah,
you gotta use your brain.
you gotta use your brain. Yeah, for sure. So what I want to do first is like you guys. Okay, so I'll just let you know, like, I haven't played any of the Phoenix Wright games, any of the Ace Attorney games. I have watched the Game Grumps entire playthrough of the first game on the
Oh, good.
remaster.
So you've played it.
it was ridiculously funny. Like, I thought it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I really legitimately enjoyed it. But I think this is a unique opportunity because what I'd like for you 3 to do as fans of this series is to sell me on it.
Okay, here's how I'm gonna sell it to you. Do you like it when you're like in an argument with someone and you know you're right and they just won't believe you no matter what? And then like 2 days later they come back to you and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were right. I'm sorry." That like satisfaction.
Was that your Edgeworth
feeling.
impression?
Oh god, no it wasn't. But it can be if you want it to be. That's the whole thing about Ace Attorney. I get like a rush of adrenaline when I realize something that someone is lying and I can prove them wrong and I have the receipts to back it up. That's the best
Mhm.
feeling.
Mhm.
It's so good.
Yeah,
And
that's
also, Ace
fair.
Attorney has fantastically written characters that are all very like amazing, and I love everything about it.
Okay, nice.
So, Nirav, how do you feel about puns?
I love them. I do love them very
Oh.
much.
Ace Attorney.
Here's a little thing about Ace Attorney that you might not have known. Almost every character, with the exception of a few of the main characters, has a name that is some kind of pun. Your lead detective, who you're working with, is named Dick Gumshoe. You're interrogating witnesses with names like Red White and Eeny Meeny. Look at me. All the names are puns.
Okay.
Isn't there one where it's literally like, I am the bad guy? Like,
Yeah.
The doctor who is like Pal Maractus, which you
Yeah,
can
the
just rearrange
malpractice.
the letters as Malpractus.
There's a
That's what I
victim
like.
named Deadman. Mr.
Yeah.
Deadman.
Okay, well
Name one of the
that
spin-offs.
now he was also in Death Stranding.
True.
Okay,
That's a fun crossover.
Okay.
Mr. Deadman, the victim from Ace Attorney, and then Deadman from Death Stranding.
So would you guys describe this to me as like a comedic game in nature?
Yes.
Weirdly, it is comedic, but it's also incredibly good at having these hard-hitting emotions
You're right.
and not pulling your punches. I mean, you have to deal with very sad murders of people close to you, genuinely difficult decisions to make in court, forcibly interrogating innocent people, and then, not to mention, the core conflict where you find out that Phoenix only became an attorney because he wanted to reunite with his friend?
We'll loosely use that.
We'll get into that part. I've taken some notes on that.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
good.
like, my big thing is, like, if you like anime in any form, then you would definitely like Phoenix Wright, because, like, it's literally has all of those great things that I love about anime, which is, like, the fact that everyone's, like, reactions are freaking outrageous,
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
like, people have a name like Larry Butts. Like,
I love Larry Butts.
yeah, and it's
If
just,
something
like,
smells, it's gotta be Larry Butts.
Gotta be
yeah,
the Butts.
and so it's just like one of those things that it's like you know, later on in the series you have the prosecutor and he like talks and like a cup of coffee just like slides out of freaking nowhere into his hand, and he just like takes a sip of it, and it's just like yes, just like just give me more of it, please. Like the fact that like it was made for the DS and it was an actual function that you could yell objection into the
Oh
microphone,
my god.
and
Oh
that would
God,
actually
really?
work.
I only
Yes.
played the remake.
Oh no, I played it when I was on the DS, and yeah, you can yell objection and it
Yep.
will actually like do it. And then you
I
like
played it
blow
on
off.
the Wii, where you point with the Wiimote to yell objection.
That's
Oh my
also
God.
good. though.
Waggle the Wiimote, please, to yell.
No, you actually had to like do a dramatic point like
You didn't
Phoenix
do the Phoenix
does.
Wright point.
Yes!
Yeah, because Phoenix Wright, his whole thing is he yells objection and he like points like
Yeah.
very
Oh
dramatically.
yeah. You're right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you have to do that with the Wii remote, but it's just like
Uh-huh.
everything is just over exaggerated.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I just
All
love
right.
it.
Also, just like anime, it'll be really funny and heartwarming one moment, and then it will hit you
Yeah,
right in the feels in the next moment.
and there is an anime, so
Yes,
Yeah,
there
there
is.
is.
And,
So
and a live-action movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a musical. Actually, 3 musicals.
oh
Where
no.
every character is played by a woman.
okay.
Oh my
Nice.
God,
Well, actually, I was
Played with
gonna
Sakura.
get to that later, but
Wonderful.
we're in it now. So have you guys seen the live action and the anime and all that stuff?
We watched the live-action
Yes.
movie in my anime club when I was a sophomore, and holy shit.
That's so funny. Annie, why don't you tell them what you were the president of at our school?
I was gonna say I apparently didn't do well in my duties in the anime club.
Annie was the president of the anime club when we were in
Oh!
college.
So was I.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
granted, kind of forced into the position because no one wanted to run an entire anime convention at our college, but I'll take it.
You ran a whole fucking con?
Well, it was a small con, but
It was it was a con nonetheless. Like the one that I went to my like senior year, that was like it was pretty good. Like you had a lot of people there.
Yeah, hashtag ProCon CFC. I don't know if it still exists.
Well, there's no way of
Okay.
knowing.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, but anyway, now that we've all circle jerked about anime a little bit, let's get back to the
Weirdly,
conceit
half
here.
the people in this chat have been presidents of an anime club.
Yeah, 50% of us roughly.
So
So
just shows the audience what kind of people they're dealing with.
right, okay. As somebody who wasn't president of an anime club, though, let me take on this role for a minute. Say I'm somebody who's not usually into anime stuff. Like maybe I've like whatever. I've dipped into like one thing here or there. Like maybe I've seen 1 or 2 animes that like had particularly standout kind of pop appeal, right? Like something like Death Note or whatever. But like I'm just not into the whole idea. Like what is it? What can you tell me about Ace Attorney to get me interested in this?
Proving people wrong.
Yeah, honestly, like it kind of makes you feel
And
smart.
seeing them lose their absolute shit
Yes,
when
that's the
you
best.
prove them wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has what's called a breakdown, and like it's when you like get them to the point where they like admit that they're guilty, and they are always great.
Yes. You get stuff like banging your head against the wall, you get screaming to the sky, you get tearing at clothes.
Tearing
get
at your
toupees
face.
coming off?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do get toupees flying off.
Wow. Okay. And so
It's very great.
this
Is any of this working for you?
Yeah, well, I'm having trouble. I'm a big anime boy myself, so I'm just gonna say
I would
yes.
also say some of the best written relationships. Like you have this really big, especially in the later games of the series, found family
Oh, I
aesthetic
love the found family
between
so much.
Phoenix and basically all the various children he adopts and the various other prosecutors and detectives who reluctantly become part of this big family. And it's very, very heartwarming, and it has a cast of central characters that you will genuinely come to care about.
I know you said a cast of central characters, but I heard a cast of sensual characters,
It's
You
both.
know
which
what?
also is true.
Listen to Miles Edgeworth talk and tell me I was wrong.
Okay, you know what? Hold on to that thought. Well, we will get to there later. I do.
Why can't we talk about Edgeworth yet?
No. Well, I'm trying to kind of go. There was
It's
supposed to be
planned.
there was supposed to be a structure to this. Anyway, so what I want to talk about though is let's say I'm not somebody who's like into the idea of visual novels. Like, what if I'm one of these grumpy people that says this isn't even a video game?
Okay, well, I mean, it's definitely like a puzzle game too, in a way. Like it's problem solving,
Yeah,
and if
there's
you
still,
really,
like a game part to it.
yeah, if you like really enjoy it, like you do get to like click around and make decisions and figure things out
Yeah,
and like solve puzzles.
You do have to like examine like the crime scene, find things that could be evidence, and then go interrogate people out of the courtroom.
Yeah,
You have
and
to find contradictions in witness statements. You have to present the right kind of evidence. Although this is not how being a lawyer works in real life, the burden of solving the mystery is on you, the player, and you do not really get handheld through it. With the
No, you
exception of
don't.
a few
Yeah,
tutorial
it is
phases.
this is probably one of the few games that I have like save spammed.
Oh yeah, I say
Like,
spam.
I make a decision and I'm like save, because otherwise you have to like do it all over again. Basically.
Oh, yeah. The judge has very short-tempered,
Okay.
not very patient.
Oh right. Okay. I also want to like.
Impatient for you. Everyone else, he's very patient.
He's very
for.
patient for. Also, just to add to the ridiculous nature of the world here, like I think there's a rule. I don't know if this is in every game, but like a rule that like the judge is like, every case must be solved in 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like a constant of the series.
So there's your tension.
There's your tension
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I do like the idea though that it knows how silly it is and it leans into it and takes advantage of it. Is what I'm getting.
Yeah,
But while being genuinely intriguing, difficult mysteries, some of the solutions, especially a few like late game cases, let's just say it's not always necessarily following the rules of the fair play mystery, but they're all solvable, and some of them are unexpected.
So if I make
there's
the
great
wrong,
plot twists in it.
if I like
Oh,
am
yeah.
in a trial and I make the wrong choice, is there like could I like actually soft block myself out of like finishing it?
No.
there's
You-
actually a few cases where you do. I want to say there's at least one where you have to pick a certain option in order
Well,
to
yeah,
proceed.
but then I mean, you have like you
just get a
basically have
game
like
over,
you have
basically.
like a health, quote unquote, a
Yeah.
health, and you can
Yeah.
make the wrong decision a certain number of time, or they go through the whole thing where they're like, oh well, I
There
guess
are a
this
few
person's
cases
guilty.
where the prosecutor will be like, you have to so like usually you have like 10 health and you lose about 2, but there are some cases where the prosecutor's like, if you get this wrong, the trial's over and you lose all of your health.
But you can always reset and restart, so you can never block yourself out
but
of
it is
solving
still
the
very
case.
scary.
Okay.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's where the save spamming comes in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so just to draw a different sort of like a thing here, you do actually have to figure out what's going on. It's not like Danganronpa, if you know what that is a little bit different because that sort of like guides you through like what is right and what is like actually happening. I think I would say that Ace Attorney requires a little bit more logic on your part.
Yeah, well, so
Mhm.
you can't continue. So like the way that it works is you like walk around certain areas, and like you get into an area and it's a screen and there's usually a person there, and you can choose to inspect the things on your screen that are in that room, or talk to the person, and you can like give, present evidence to that person to get certain reactions and stuff. But you can't always continue with the storyline until you've found all of the clues, but it doesn't tell you where the clues are. So like there were times that I was just like wandering around a amusement park for like 2 hours being like, why can't I move on?
Times when you're standing in front of a person and you're just emptying your pockets.
Yes.
You're like,
because you can present items to them.
How about this one? What about that?
Oh, you like?
Would you like to see my freaking prosecutor badge?
This bottle of milk doing anything for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I know you guys have been wanting to talk about this. Let's talk about the characters a little more closely. So, Miles Edgeworth is your rival throughout this series, sort of like a friendly rival, and it's
friendly at the
right,
a grumpy rival,
a begrudgingly respectful rival.
Yes, I would go.
And one thing I will say about that you do, it is important to know going in, the creators of the series have repeatedly over the years refused to ever definitively state the nature of the relationship between Phoenix and Edgeworth. So
yeah,
it's one of those situations where if you read them as friends, you're correct. If you read them as frenemies, you're correct. If you read them as lovers, you're correct.
Okay, literally just having like just watch a Let's Play of the first game, like the remaster of it, that it seems almost like glaringly obvious that they were in a romantic relationship in the past. Like, it seems like it beats you over the head with a hammer with it.
But see, this is the thing, and I don't know this for sure, but like I heard, so I played the original ones, like on the DS, and I think it's a slightly different translation of what people say.
Some of I've seen screenshots of it. In the remaster, they have changed a few little bits of dialogue.
Where it makes it seem like more like they're in a relationship.
Having played it in Japanese, it is more faithful. The translation that makes them.
So the one that I played, they made it less gay.
Yeah, they used
and then they
in Japanese
to
in the later games. There is explicitly romantic language used at least one point.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, good. No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No.
Rather have it that way. But like so I didn't get that as much, and then I was like hearing that like in the newer ones they were like making it more of an obvious, like, or at least hinting towards it more, and I was like,
all I knew about Ace Attorney going in was that Phoenix and Edgeworth were gay.
Really?
The way I was trying to get at though was that if you're not the kind of person who is interested in romantic relationships playing a fundamental role in your games, it doesn't beat you over the head. But if you're the kind of person who enjoys like subtext and possible hints at a romantic relationship between your characters, you could absolutely take it that way.
Oh, it'll give you that.
Which is kind of cool in a way. Like,
yeah, like I mean, yeah, there's no like romantic, at least for them, like there's no like romantic thing at the forefront there. But I do think it's interesting because it builds a different dynamic for their relationship, at least like within the games, and I think it's a more interesting one personally.
Also, like Edgeworth is a fascinating character. Like everyone's favorite redemption arc will always be Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they're all right.
Right.
But Edgeworth is another excellently written redemption arc. You see him as this. He starts off with the nickname Demon Prosecutor for being really, really harsh in court and caring more about winning than actual questions of innocent versus guilty. But over time, you see him begin to question that as he spends more time with Phoenix. You see this just beautifully plotted character development arc.
I mean, there's a case in the remaster I don't know if it was in the DS one. I think it was, where you see him actually work with you. Instead of trying to win, he's trying to find the truth like you are.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's
I mean, Phoenix has character development, certainly, but he kind of starts as the lovable, goofy protagonist and stays that way as well. Edgeworth has this elegantly plotted character arc that spans multiple games.
Yeah, I almost feel like the game is actually about him.
You will have emotions about Miles Edgeworth. They may not always be positive emotions, but he's interesting. Even if you don't love him, he's so fascinating.
He is a fascinating character.
So yeah, that's interesting to hear. I also want to hear your sort of takes on like the other characters, like specifically like I guess I don't know if this is much of a spoiler since it's just the beginning of the first game, but like Maya just gets fucking like bashed over the head.
Mia.
Mia,
Yeah.
is it Mia who
Oh,
dies?
Mia? Yeah, it's Mia.
Mia. Okay. So Mia, who is what is her relationship to Phoenix at the beginning?
Mentor.
She's his mentor.
Okay. So like, she gets like fucking killed with a statue. I think Abraham Lincoln. I don't remember.
The thinker.
The thinker, yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. And so her murder is sort of like the first case that you get put on, and her little sister, who is that Maya? Yeah.
Maya, yeah.
Yeah, she sort of acts as your companion throughout that,
Mhm.
and so for the game, she's kind of the one who's like your, like the inner voice in your head, sort of like bouncing ideas around,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do people feel about Maya? I personally think she's very funny because again, I
love
just
Maya.
watched the Game Grumps one, and the whole thing was her voice was like, Phoenix, I found something.
I adore Maya Fey. I
love
adore her
Maya
with all my
and
heart.
Phoenix's like bastard sibling energy.
It's
Yes!
Bastard
Like,
sibling
they
energy is
fucking
very
like
good.
They're siblings, and it's so fucking
their
good.
like love for each other is in like their relationship where she's like, I want to eat eat everything. Like she's like, I'm hungry, and he's like, we just ate. Like
And
he's
also
like
he
her
never has
big
any money.
Well, I was going to use this
Yeah.
potato as evidence, but I guess you can eat it.
I guess you can eat it.
Also,
Don't even get me started on the ladder versus step ladder. That comes up in every game.
Okay, well, no, explain that to me. We got time.
So in one of the cases, in the first game, I want to say it's the one with Will Powers, where they're at
It
the
is.
Steel Samurai studio. There's a ladder in the it's like in the set room, and Phoenix and Maya will start like Phoenix will be like, it's a ladder, and Maya will be like, no, it's a step ladder, and they'll like have like an actual like little tiny bit of banter where they'll both be like, Maya's like, how dare you confine the ladder to like your view of what the ladder is, but
Yeah.
then like in the next two games
It
they will
comes
bring
back.
that argument back when Maya's with you and we find another ladder and Phoenix like, it's a ladder, Maya's like, no, it's a step ladder, we've talked about this. Oh my god, it's
Also,
so
like,
funny.
speaking of the Faye siblings, the game manages to give Mia development and character arc. Like she gets killed off very early. She doesn't stay static. You get flashback cases where you play as her.
I loved
You
those.
get
Yeah, I love.
She,
She's
yeah,
my favorite
she
character.
come
appears
back
as a ghost a few times,
as
to
a
like give you
ghost, yes.
advice and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Mia. Like she's a wonderful mentor, and she has her own tragic backstory, her own fight
Right.
for
Her
justice.
dad was eaten
and
by a crocodile.
that's not true.
It was two crocodiles, but yes.
Her dad was eaten by a crocodile, which was already being eaten by another crocodile. It was awful. Is that what the DL6 incident was?
No.
Is that the number of crocodiles? 6?
Six.
It was a chain of
The
six.
L6
It was a chain of six crocodiles,
Would be a
human
lot
centipeding each other.
crocodiles.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so I want to just kind of go around and get like a very personal moment that each of you kind of had with any of these games to just kind of like give me an idea of like the feelings it's gonna evoke if I pick this up. So like Elizabeth, what would you say?
Oh man, like I definitely cried like a little bitch when I played this game.
Embrace it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if you want to pick up this game, I'm also gonna go ahead and be that person. Play Apollo Justice as well, just the fourth one, like just the fourth Ace Attorney game. I haven't played Spirit of Justice or Dual Destinies yet, but so the series director worked on the first 4 Ace Attorney games, and the fourth one stars a different protagonist, but Phoenix is still a character in the game. And the characters in that game are just as incredible as the characters in the first 3 games, but the sad thing is they don't get as fleshed out because the series director left, and then they kind of changed their minds on what they wanted to do for the last 2 games. But I'm going to be that person and say, please play Apollo Justice if you play it too, if you play the normal Ace Attorneys, because, oh my god, I love the characters in that game so much.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I played it on my phone in Washington, D.C. we went on a vacation, and you can buy it on the Android App Store, so I bought it there, and I was playing it on my phone when we were, on vacation.
Just crying
And,
in the
yeah, just crying in the hotel, crying about Clavier Gavin at like midnight.
No.
Node.
Nice. Okay, so Kate, what's like maybe a personal experience you had?
So this isn't really connected to the games, but Phoenix Wright actually led to me getting into another of my major interests. So,
The
as I
Witcher.
mentioned, no. Shut your mouth. It's not Geralt. Not everything is Geralt, okay?
Oh no.
Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, one of the strangest adaptations that Phoenix Wright has gotten is a stage musical. It is a combination of like the existing characters in a slightly altered version of one of the cases from the first game with a second musical that is an entirely original case, and it was presented by the all-female Japanese acting troupe, the Takarazuka Review. I am in love with them. When I was in Japan, I saw many of their performances live. I never saw one of the Phoenix Wright shows, but I actually got to see some of the actors who played in the Phoenix Wright shows in other shows, and it was something I would like that kind of defined my time in Japan that I never would have discovered without Phoenix Wright. And so
Okay. Wow.
that's a huge reason why those games are so personal to me.
Okay.
And also, haha, yeah, I'm like Miles Edgeworth.
I like Miles Edgeworth.
Lame.
All right, Annie, how about you?
So like I have like written on my notes for this, like I feel like the personal moment that like stood out to me the most are like not necessarily saying good things towards the game of me just getting like super frustrated, but like
No, you're so valid.
like I remember being, and in a way that's it's great for that too, right? Because it's like problem solving, but it like
you care, you want
Yes.
to get this right.
yes. So like I remember being on an airplane and with my DS,
As you do.
Yeah.
as you do, as a nerd does. But and like the person next to me is already like, okay, who is this?
Who's this hoe?
And so I'm playing it, and I remember it was like I think it was like, it doesn't really matter. One of the games near the end where like it's one of those games that you can just play it and then you look up and you're like, oh crap, it's been 3 hours.
That's
And-
exactly what happened when I played it.
Yeah, but like I remember just not being able to figure out what evidence I needed to present in a trial, and I remember like physically like getting angry about it while on an airplane, trying to be quiet and also not alert the person next to me that I am crazy. So like like I just remember the amount of like frustration, and then like finally getting it and just being like I wanted to stand up and like victory pose. Like I was just so happy, but I couldn't because I was in an airplane.
Oh man. I was the guy the person in the opposite situation. The person next to me on a plane was playing it, and they kept getting like not being able to progress, and it was so hard to keep myself quiet.
It's right there. Maybe we were
Yeah.
sitting next to each other on the
No,
airplane.
are you a young Japanese man?
Oh, I don't think so.
Kate and my sister had to deal with me like going on voice call at like 1 a.m. and being like, let me just talk everything out with you because I can't fucking figure this out.
Where's my notebook?
I remember that.
So is this the kind
we
of
had-
is this the kind of game that necessitates me like taking notes and stuff?
Yes.
No, I mean like you can
It'll
also
be
like go.
helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't take notes, but I live blogged my reactions to my friends who'd played the game. But in doing that, I had a list of background things that I could go back up through and look at again.
It's
Like,
it's
it
just
also had to do with me, like, at work, thinking about some Ace Attorney case and messaging them, being like, yo, wait, does this have to do with something?
like you can
know,
always
I can't
go.
play the game right now, but I can be at work and think about it.
You can always just go through the evidence, and that's kind of like your notes because it has all of the stuff
Yeah,
on them.
it will
But
be
like
pretty good.
If you want
About
to be like
keeping it.
quicker and not have to like go through the evidence slowly and read everything and kind of get your head together, then you could take notes.
Okay, nice. All right, so I want to sort of start wrapping this part up. I want you guys to tell me, does this game need more or less ghosts?
The ghosts were kind of like some of the weirdest, but also best
Oh,
parts.
there are
I mean,
ghosts in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will agree
Yeah.
with
Oh
that.
yeah.
Oh, I guess
The
there's
ghosts.
second, the Apollo Justice needs more ghosts, is what I'm going to
yeah, Apollo. Yeah, there's spirit mediums in it. I guess we'll say that. In
The ghosts are generally really interesting, so I would say more ghosts.
say. I want my mom to play Ace Attorney with me, but I also don't want to explain the ghosts to her, so I don't know how to go about it.
honestly, I think if you ended up having to defend a ghost,
Ooh.
that would be pretty good, and also a very Ace Attorney thing to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Or if the ghost ended up being the killer. But I guess that.
what
Also,
would you
they-
even
they-
do?
Whoa, wait. That
Um,
kind
But
of
I was going to
happens.
say
Uh,
that actually
happened.
kind of happens, doesn't it? So, like, damn.
Okay.
That kind of happens.
Wow. All right. So, let me actually ask one more thing of you guys. Do you think that there's any chance / would it be a good idea that Phoenix Wright gets into Smash?
Yes.
I would love that. But
He
he's
has
already
been in
Marvel
a
vs.
fighting
Capcom.
game. Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom, and he's awesome in that, so absolutely.
Okay.
That would be fun.
What would his like moveset be? I'm just curious as a big
It
Smash
ex-
player.
so in Marvel vs. Capcom, he does his objections and like the actual physical like letters and the kanji of his objections become like projectiles that he
amazing.
shoots at his enemy,
I
and
love
then
that.
at one
Just
point I
so
think during
meta.
one of his specials, like the judge can smash you with a hammer. He can like get you accused of being guilty in the middle of the battle, and that like drains your health. So they really made him work as a fighting game character in a way not a lot of people thought he could be.
He should, like, slam his hands down on a desk and it creates, like, a, like, earthquake, like...
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I actually, while we've been talking, you guys have been so enthusiastic, I went to check on the price for the trilogy.
Oh, this one's
Good.
still fairly often. I can let you know when it goes on sale.
Yeah, it's $30 on Switch right now, but I could probably get it on PC for cheap.
I mean, hey,
One
that's
of
3
us.
games.
One
So,
of
It is
us.
3 games. That's
One
fair.
of us.
Three, yeah.
so
Okay.
$10, really.
Cool. All right.
Capcom, I think, just had a sale. They might have another one coming up.
Also,
Well-
more reason to play a Switch, right? So,
Yeah.
I bought it. I preloaded it onto my Switch because I wanted to play it that badly.
This does feel more like a Switch kind of a game.
Well, what happened was my sister went to Japan and she had a class on Japanese law, and she and one of her friends in the class started looking up Ace Attorney stuff. And then she got really into it while she was in Japan. And she was
Amazing.
like,
Y'all
please
making me feel old because I played it on the
Please.
DS in high school.
play Ace Attorney when it comes out, because that was like right when it had announced that it was going to get a Switch port, and like, you know, my sister and Caitlin were both like, please, Ace Attorney, play.
True.
I want to replay it. Like, honestly, I haven't played
I've
it
been
in,
meaning
like,
to replay
6
it.
years.
Yeah.
Like,
be-
I
Such a
need to
good
replay
game.
it.
Be a good reason
I
to get the
played it.
remasters.
On the DS in high school, like the original versions, and then when I was in college, I actually did my thesis about perceptions of the justice system and law enforcement system in Japan. So
Oh,
I
Gumshoe,
replayed
right?
the
Was Gumshoe in
series
there?
back then.
Oh,
What?
Gumshoe was in your thesis, right?
Gumshoe and
Gumshoe was in
spoiler.
your thesis is the most insane sentence I've ever heard.
Oh, it gets weirder. Adachi from Persona 4 was in my thesis.
Oh.
No. That's a whole nother.
Lupin the Third was
We're
in
gonna-
my thesis. Detective Conan was in my
Okay,
thesis.
we're gonna have
My
a
thesis was
Persona 4
awesome.
episode later.
No, you don't want me on a Persona 4 episode. I have analyzed that game to death for my friggin' thesis. You do not want me on that podcast.
my
Jeff B. Caitlin.
I know it's a lot less important, but my thesis was about the economic feasibility of creating wind farms and the structure of the power grid.
That's
Oh my God, I thought
much
you said
more important. I wrote about anime.
I hate everything.
I've never written a thesis, so
Mirav, I wrote about
Y'all
anime. Your
do
thesis
better
was
than
so
me.
important. Mine was literally about anime.
And yet
And
here
the
I am
other-
hosting a podcast about anime.
how the grade have fallen.
Yeah.
But no, I replayed it. The last time I replayed the series was back in college when I was doing my thesis. So I feel like I am also due for a replay pretty soon.
Okay.
I want to play it with my mom. I want to get my mom into it. I want to play it with someone who hasn't played it before.
Also, Elizabeth, you need to finish the rest of the series.
I do.
Kate, you actually touched on something I actually had read about and I forgot about till just now, but this game apparently kind of shines a light for Westerners specifically on like the weirdness of the Japanese justice system.
Mhm.
Could you
Yep.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the things that's so the Japanese justice system did not use a jury for the longest time, and the first 3 games reflect that. Then when Apollo Justice was coming out, they actually added the jury into the final case in the game to kind of be relevant with the changes that were happening in the Japanese justice system. And since then, there's been a mix of jury and non-jury trials in the game. Another thing that it reads as very different from a Western audience because you see these lawyers with a great amount of power. You see these prosecutors who see themselves as these kind of inviolable
We are gods.
forms of right, and that
They walk
actually
as gods among us.
it actually comes from a Japanese tradition where, like, pre-modern times, magistrates and judges were seen as divinely appointed and were not allowed to be wrong, which led to a number of miscarriages of justice. So the first Phoenix Wright game was actually very subversive when it came out because it saw you playing against these godlike figures and you as the scrappy defense attorney who was willing to go against what the judges and prosecutors were saying.
Well, and that makes like Von Karma's whole storyline like mean a lot more.
Yeah.
Like knowing that background.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
So Miles Edgeworth is actually really more of like what a typical Japanese lawyer might look
Yes,
like, right?
original Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phoenix is very subversive. He is honestly a rebel within the justice system. But yeah, it's been amazing playing the games as they come out and seeing the portrayal of the justice system shift as the real life one does too.
Yeah.
That's
I thought
really cool.
the introduction of the jury in Apollo Justice was really interesting.
Yeah. Because you actually, as Phoenix and Apollo, get to be part of that version of Japan's first jury trial.
Okay.
And it's this amazing, powerful moment.
Nice. Well, I think you
And
guys
that
have
trial was just buck wild.
you guys
Oh,
have like
oh.
super sold me on this actually. I will definitely grab it. Everyone, if anyone's interested now, the remaster trilogy is on like I think it's on everything: Switch, PC, Xbox, and PS4.
Yeah, pretty sure it's all.
Go grab it. Oh,
And-
it's also on phones, right? It's on Android and iOS.
Yeah.
No, the 4th, 5th, and 6th games are on iOS and Android.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to play the Edgeworth spin-offs, one is on the phone as well. The second one has not been released in English, but there's a
Unfortunately,
patch
there
for
are
it.
a few titles that you're going to have to get fan translations if you want to play. The second of the Edgeworth spin-offs, as well as the 2 Daigyakusen Saiban, which cover an ancestor of Phoenix's teaming up with Sherlock Holmes, have not been officially translated, but there are fan translation patches. There is also an excellent crossover with Professor Layton
Oh,
that I highly
yeah,
recommend.
Play that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
Professor Layton's pretty
It's-
fun.
A wonderful, wonderful crossover.
Okay, that crossover makes a lot of sense actually. All right,
Oh, it does.
we have been here forever, so we need to I guess move on a little bit. So time for games. We're gonna do Kill Your Darlings today. And so each of us are gonna produce our we'll go in turn. Gonna produce our 3 favorite games. You don't need to order them or anything, but you're going to have to choose to kill one of them. You were going to erase it from existence, from history, and it never happened.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
we're here to support you in killing your darling.
Can
There
it
will
be
be
like
no
a
murder
series,
trial.
or does it have to be a specific game?
I kind of was thinking it'd be a specific game.
Oh,
we
damn,
can do
okay.
we can do series though if you're feeling that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat too. So
Okay, yeah, we can do like franchises or whatever. I thought it might be harder to kill a whole franchise, but I guess not.
well, I've already made my decision of who I'm killing. So.
Oh wow.
Me too.
Okay.
I have not.
All right, so we'll start with Kate this time. So what have you brought?
The one person who hasn't made a decision.
Yeah, I
Oh.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't picked who to kill yet. Make me go not first.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, I thought you meant you hadn't decided who to kill. You haven't decided what your things are?
No,
she
I
hasn't
know what
decided
my
who to
things
kill.
are. I haven't
Okay.
decided who to kill.
All right, let's all right, we'll jump to Elizabeth then. What do you got?
It's gonna be Pokemon, Okami, and the Persona series, and I'm gonna kill the Persona series because the fan base is fucking awful.
Yeah. What's really interesting about how you said that is that I'm also gonna kill the Persona series. Let's go and jump to mine because people are terrible.
People
No.
like the Persona fan base is really just not great.
Yeah, I think that people get a
The
little too
games-
enthusiastic, maybe.
The thing about Persona is that the games are good, but they're not like flawless. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of people in the like fan base who are like, you cannot criticize this game. You cannot. It's perfect. But no, there's some dumb shit in
There's some glaring flaws with all of them, and I think that's
I
fine.
can write the
Yeah.
Persona series characters' story development better than the Persona writers can write their character development.
You're on watch, Atlas. All right.
Like, oh my god. I have a lot of
okay,
things to
okay.
say about that.
That was a little easier than I thought it'd be. I guess I'll jump into mine then. I'd say my favorite
Join me.
series is probably my favorite game ever is probably Breath of the Wild. So I would probably bring I love all the Zeldas. So I'll bring that in with me. Death Stranding, which I played recently, has become possibly it's like my second or third definitely favorite game of all time. I think it's fucking phenomenal. And then I actually had Persona 5 bringing in with me. I'm currently playing Persona 4. Have not done it before.
Oh my god.
Because it just came out on PC, and so people can play it now. So I'm gonna have to also unfortunately kill Persona. I love all my children and my talking cat and the big teddy bear, but I am gonna have to just throw them into the ocean. Unfortunately.
Oh, you're choosing how to murder them too.
Oh yeah, well, that could be fun. Yeah. I'm gonna throw mine into the ocean, and it's gonna be sort of a slow process from there. All right, Annie, what have you got?
So I have Portal 2. It's one of my favorite games, and then I just said like the whole Zelda franchise.
Yeah.
But because I can't choose one. And then Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is
Oh, I've been meaning to play that.
It's a great game. Annie,
Okay.
we played that together, didn't we?
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to kill Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons because
Oh no.
it can no longer hurt anyone.
That's fair.
Oh, boy.
If anyone's
It's
like
so good though. Like, please play it.
if
but,
anyone's not familiar with it, it's a super great short game. It's like 4 or 5 hours, and it was made by the Fuck the Oscars guy from the Game Awards, so that's very good.
it's so good, and I can't say too much about it because you just need to play it.
it's
like-
great. Worth your time. So I also wanted to point out though, I think Annie, you were actually there with me when I finished Portal 2. I think you were in my room hanging out.
It's very possible.
Which was also like let me just throw out like one of the best like final boss fights ever.
Oh, I
for
love
sure.
Portal 2 is like the perfect game for me. Like,
I've not played Portal 2.
It's good. I honestly think I like the first one a little more just because I feel like the second overstays its welcome a tiny bit. Like it's a little too long, but
as the person who plays Persona.
yeah. Well, Persona only took me 100 hours. I don't know what you're talking
Jesus
about.
Christ.
But yeah, like anyway, let's all right. We're finally back around, Kate. There's no running anymore.
All right. I'm bringing individual games. I've got Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I've got Persona 4, and I've got Witcher 3, and I'm actually gonna kill Geralt.
Oh,
Damn, really?
Geralt!
What?
I love him, but
Hey,
no.
Kate, would you kill Gwent?
Yes.
Oh my god.
No. My logic is this: if I kill Witcher 3, I still have the books, I still have the Netflix show, he still exists in some form, the other two just go away.
He
Yeah, that's
also
a good point.
yeah, but then the most interactive way you have to hang out with Geralt is with The Witcher 2: Assassins and Kings. Just
Hey, I liked that one too, so don't even ask me.
I could not even make it an hour into that game.
And that's a you problem.
Yeah. So anyway, we've killed our children. Kate, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do the murder?
All you book fans are gonna hate me, but good old pitchfork to the back.
Not even in the front, huh?
Book fans know what I'm talking about.
Okay. No,
I
so
don't like that.
yeah, I don't like that you stabbed it in the back.
The
Like it's
implications of that.
kind of a betrayal.
Mm,
Ooh. All right. Well,
what you say?
let's bring this to our closing segment here. Let's everyone go to the wishing well. Please pull out the commemorative Capcom coin that you all should have received in the mail.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Everyone, close your eyes. We're gonna toss this coin into the wishing well. Each of us are gonna wish for some. I know you said that Phoenix Wright has been in a fighting game already in Marvel vs. Capcom, so we'll go ahead and rule that out. But what other genre of game would you like to see in this Phoenix Wright universe? Doesn't have to star him. Can maybe have any of the characters, but just in this universe, like what kind of game would you want to see Capcom toss out to you?
Oh God. Here, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a reference to the fourth game. Give me Clavier Gavin Rock Band.
Oof. That would be pretty good.
The prosecutor in the fourth game is a rock star.
Oh, okay. That's strange. Why is he a attorney?
Ace Attorney, man.
His whole band is people from the police force. They're all.
Oh, they're the police. Okay.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's great.
Okay.
I want that rock band game. Give it to me.
That sounds fun. That
Give
actually
me
sounds.
more Clavier Gavin, Capcom.
Just
Do it.
considering
Where are you
considering
keeping him?
considering what Japan throws out at us regularly, that seems entirely possible. It already exists in some Japanese arcade.
Definitely.
You know, that doesn't. Yeah, judging by Persona getting a dancing game, that seems plausible.
All right. Who else?
I don't. Does VR count as a genre?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So,
I love
okay,
that.
now you're telling me that you want to have a VR experience in a two-dimensional anime world?
Well, hear me out. It wouldn't be two-dimensional if it was VR. They would have to make it 3D.
I guess so.
I think what's the last one? The Dual Destinies, or was it? Isn't that one like 3D? Like they made it.
They have 3D models in the last two.
Yeah. So like I just want to be the one pointing my hand across, the like at the prosecutor and
Okay,
saying
what
action physically.
What you really want is Xbox Connect functionality.
No, I want to be in it. I want it to be around me physically, and I want to see my own hand reach out in front of me. Well, I guess it wouldn't be my own hand, but and I want to yell objection in real life.
Okay.
And I want that. I want to be in
You want that yelling into the DS experience, but like in 2020.
I want to be in the room where it happens.
Oh my God. I would love if we could make it through like a single one of these fucking episodes without referencing Hamilton.
No, we can't.
Oh my God.
Courtroom where it
And
happens.
Caitlin's gonna take their commemorative Capcom coin and toss it directly at their Witcher. So
True.
Okay,
true,
so
you know.
Okay, so sorry. What was your thing then? What do you want to do with
I wished for official English translations of the untranslated entries in the series.
Okay, that's fair.
oh,
The
yeah, I've heard
two-
the second
The two
investigation
Sherlock
game is
Holmes
very
games
good.
and the second Edgeworth game, I wish for official English translations and of the musicals as well.
Well, see, what we need to do is we need to release this podcast as, just like set it on street corners somehow, I don't know, and like get as many people as possible to buy the game, and then it will come back into style, and then they'll do it.
Maybe we can get more Clavier Gavin while we're at it. I'm gonna simp for Clavier Gavin always. He deserves the kind of arc Edgeworth got, and they set him up for it, and then they didn't give it to him.
Oh, that's sad. You know what I want personally? What could interest me a lot is if this was like still a detective game, but like the investigation segments were somehow some sort of like fucking high octane platinum action experience. That's what I want. I would love to see
Yes.
Phoenix doing some like fucking like perfectly timed dodges and like reflecting kicks and stuff.
Amazing.
God.
Yeah, maybe add some car chases.
Yeah, and just like whatever. Maybe he has a big sword. I don't know.
No, Phoenix doesn't drive. He rides a bike.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He rides like
It would
not
be
like a
fun.
motorcycle, just like a bike. Yeah,
He's
No,
environmentally
like a normal
conscious.
bike. He's in Japan, so.
that's fair. All right. Well,
Actually, I'm sorry, the car. We can do a car chase with Edgeworth.
I think the idea of you being on a regular bicycle chasing somebody in a car is very interesting. I'd love to see it happen.
Love it.
Okay, so
Oh my God,
we're gonna wrap up.
hysterical.
Thank you to everyone for participating. Thanks for Elizabeth and Kate, and for our special guest Annie for coming in. Thank you to Todd Howard for sponsoring this podcast. Everyone, make sure to find more of our stuff at GameLuster.com. We have our YouTube channel's picking up a lot now. I've got a new show out called the Super Mutant Variety Hour, where my friend is sort of just trapped in a weird, strange world of Fallout 4 I've made with some mods, and we're just going to see what Todd thinks about that. We have a few other things. I think, Kate, you have something coming up too on YouTube.
Yes, probably going to do a video about Ghost of Tsushima and connecting it to real-world locations in Japan that you can visit.
Yeah, I think I've got something about Ghost of Tsushima coming out next week too, I think, where I'm just kind of talk about like historical fiction and like why it's important and cool. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter and stuff. I'm at Gondeezy if anyone wants to shout out their Twitter things, please.
I'm at Punsona, but the O is a 0.
Are you part of the Persona fan base problem?
I mean, that's where the username did come from, but, like, I tend to not engage. I can at least acknowledge that the Persona series has some flaws.
Okay, that's
what
fair.
fan fiction is for.
Yeah.
Because Persona gives you all these amazing characters, and then they just throw all their development out the window. So
I am at Derek and Tons, though my Twitter is almost entirely just pictures of food that I cook, so, you know.
Well, if you're into that, then it's right there. Annie, do you have any plugs? Are you working on anything? I guess just being alive.
I have a job interview next week, working on that.
Okay. Well, I'll be cheering for you.
Can I plug like a video
Sure.
that kind of has? So there is, if you type into YouTube, Ace Attorney Objection Funk. I'm not sure if you guys have watched this, but you should. It's basically them just taking people saying like "hold it" an objection, and they made like a song out of it, and it's very good, and you should watch it.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Awesome.
I'll check that out. All right, so Annie, I believe that you are the winner of the Hall of Fameluster contest this week, so you get to take us out today. You get the last word with your signature catchphrase, so take us home.
Okay. I just want to go home, guys.
Wish granted. And yet here I am hosting a podcast about anime.